Okay, let's move forwards. Thanks for that question from Twins Takes. We have not talked much about Brock Stewart, so I think it's time for us to address this. I'm just going to get this out in the open from the jump here. This was the worst trade from my perspective, the one that I could not make sense of. I just did not understand the Brock Stewart trade. Just to recap, we got the news Brock Stewart to the Dodgers. And I was like, ooh, Dodgers, extremely interesting.
Lots of arms. Yep.
Lots of good arms, lots of guys like in the back end of their top 10 who I'm like, high A lottery ticket, who you can see being a top 100 prospect in like 6 months. And then we found out that the return is James Outman, who is 28. Number one, legit center fielder, fast, really good athlete, um, but also has just really, really struggled. And I think we would probably anoint the Dodgers the smartest organization in baseball, and they have not been able to get him back to his 2023 level of performance, where in his rookie season, 151 games, he accrued about 4 WAR, 248, 353, 437 that year with 23 home runs. In that, I want to say he finished like top 3 or top 4 for rookie of the year. He still struck out 32% of the time that year. And since has just had really limited playing time in the majors because he hasn't shown a propensity to hit. So
Right.
like I've seen all kinds of speculation on Stewart because there was a really long lag time between Brock Stewart to the Dodgers and figuring out what the return was. So some people said, well, maybe they found something on the medicals, or maybe this, maybe that. Help me understand this one, because I just don't know that I really get the fit in amongst a cluster of left-handed hitting outfielders to acquire one who's 28.
28 and out of options after this year. Who plays a position that is the only position that you can feel confident when healthy to say, hey, we have a division, like a first division winning regular, right?
Yep.
And now you add James Outman. So I think the medical thing probably scared a lot of teams away, right? That this isn't a 29 teams checking on Brock Stewart. There's probably 6 or 7 teams that maybe had an interest in him, and a whole bunch of teams that like, we're not going to invest in a guy whose arm could fall off at any time.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was like you wouldn't reach an agreement, have the agreement leak, and then have to negotiate the return later. That's
Yep.
just that right. That's not going to be a thing. So um, the Twins obviously were targeting James Outman, who they don't really have that backup center fielder that they've always had, right? They had the Michael A. Taylors of the world. I'm trying to think of who they had last year that kind of filled that role.
Who was the Matty Margot pinch hitting king?
Man, yep. And so just to have someone that can be, honestly, I think a step up of DaShawn Keirsey, right? I mean, I feel like Altman's better than Keirsey, but Altman's older than Keirsey and he's out of options. But it's like he's probably better on the base paths, probably a better fielder. So if you wanted that backup, I just, for me it feels like this was they get a guy that they know they can, or hope they can, kind of handcuff to Buxton next year.
Yeah.
Have him be the backup center fielder, have him play occasionally, maybe give Buxton more time at DH, stick him in the 9 hole, and if he's not playing, he can pinch run. He can, come as a defensive replacement. Like again, a role player that can help a team win, and not necessarily have to be a first division regular, because he's not.
Right.
And a low cost. I mean, it was a low cost. It was Brock Stewart, who, like I said, I doubt there was a huge market for him because of the arm issues.
I do think that the way you're kind of positioning that trade makes the most sense, in that you're bringing him to be a team-controlled backup to Byron Buxton. I guess my counter wonderings would be, what do we know about Byron Buxton that even in consecutive seasons where he's going to eclipse 100 games, which is awesome, and he's been phenomenal, he's going to miss time. So you're going to start Outman for a decent handful of games over the course of the year, and that feels like that's going to be a little bit of a hole in your lineup.